good student and a good kid in class, and I always did my homework without question. Didn't even think twice about it. But I also was friends with and knew a ton of kids in school who literally never did their homework. Not because they weren't smart, just because they really never wanted to do it. Maybe you were that student, and maybe you're that student still today. Well, can you imagine growing up and going to school with less homework or no homework at all? Do you think you would have enjoyed school a little bit more? I think we can all answer that question and say that we agree with that. Maybe you're a student like me, though, who actually did their homework all the time and didn't really have a problem with it. Well, I can tell you that now, as a senior in college about to graduate, I'm absolutely sick of homework and so over school. So, I'm going to explain more about why the status quo of homework should change, the benefit of this change, as well as look at a future of our children without homework, or a new homework policy. First, I'll explain why homework is an issue. Educational researchers Robert Marzano and Deborah Pickering said in their article on the case for and against homework that homework contributes to a corporate-style U.S. culture that overvalues work to the detriment of personal and familial well-being. Right now, students are receiving too much homework and spending hours upon hours each night on it. The amount of homework, of course, is going to vary wherever you go throughout the state or the United States, but parents all over are speaking up about how much homework their children are receiving. The amount of homework given, in one instance, a father actually decided to take on his middle school daughter's homework load for a week, and he would journal about it as he did it and talk about whether it was too much or if he could even do it. By the end of it, he writes, "My daughter has the misfortune of living through a time of peak homework, but it turns out that there is actually no correlation between homework and achievement." When a teacher tells their class that there's going to be no homework for the night, every single child in that room will breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that they don't have to worry about their homework when they go home and they can just relax. Now that I've told you about the problem with homework, I will explain a solution to the growing homework load. Even though there's actually no direct link between homework and grades, it would be hard to argue that eliminating it completely would be a more beneficial solution. So instead, a better approach would be to ensure that teachers use the homework more effectively. This would include the type of homework that they get and the amount of time spent on it. Donna Craich reports on the issue of homework, How Much, How Often, suggesting that school districts aim to follow the suggested guidelines of the National PTA and National Education System, saying 10 minutes per grade level, maxing out at 2 hours for a senior in high school. This would apply to grades K through 12, and because there would be such a limited amount of time spent on the homework, the assignments would need to change as well. For example, students could be assigned different outdoor activities, maybe community service, or different games with their family. And for older ages, this probably wouldn't be as appropriate. So for high school students, they could, again, do community service, different outreach activities, or be assigned to watch a documentary, or even just keep up with different current events. Now that I've told you about a new take on homework, I'll explain what this will look like in the future. By accepting a new homework policy and a new standard for homework, we can focus more on the more important aspects of raising our children, especially raising them to love to learn. If this rule were enacted, it would first cause teachers to think more closely about the type of assignments that they're giving. Instead of giving countless pages to read in a textbook or countless math problems that they don't understand, students would need to get assignments that make them learn in new and different creative ways. And as for the students, they would not only have more time for their own extracurricular activities, but also it would make school a more stress-free environment for them to learn in. If we continue to increase or not change the current role of homework in our children's education, I think that this will have a negative impact on them in the long run by making the value and purpose for school ineffective. In conclusion, there will always be students who are going to struggle in school, but I believe that with the current status quo of homework, this number of students will increase. And if we cannot adopt a new policy for homework, we will not be benefiting our children. By limiting the amount of homework to 10 minutes per grade level and 2 hours at max for a senior in high school, this will push the teachers to give more meaningful assignments outside of school to hopefully make the most out of their time. By limiting, students will have more free time and they will have more of a desire to actually be in school because their world won't revolve around it and doing their homework. Now, I could assume that this would give students a more positive view of school and make them want to be there more, but I could also tell you that for a fact, I know if this would have been the policy when I was in school, I would not be so over it as I am now. Thank you.